I'm Jared, and I'm here with Larnell Lewis. And Larnell's out from Toronto, Canada, out near Vancouver, Canada, to film some lessons for our Drumeo Edge members. But we figured since he's here, we might as well film some shorter lessons as well for everyone. And so today's lesson is titled 7 Gospel Beats That You Must Know. And obviously this isn't every single gospel beat.
No, it isn't.
But these are just 7 really important ones.
Yeah.
And before we get into that, how long have you been playing drums in the church?
Goodness. I started drumming when I was 2 years old.
In church?
No, not in church.
Okay.
Started drumming in church at 4.
Great. And you are?
29.
29, so 25 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's a pretty qualified guy to teach this lesson, I'm thinking. So this is going to be an awesome lesson. You're going to learn kind of all the, or not all, but a lot of the staple beats that you need to know if you want to play gospel music in church. Cool?
Yeah, cool.
So what are we going to start with, and what are we going to talk about?
We're going to start with something that I call Southern Gospel. It's closely related to country music.
Okay.
That kind of sound, that kind of a pattern. And also, if you're looking for a sound or an artist or a group to check out that can give you that sound,
Yeah.
you could look to groups like Mighty Clouds of Joy. It's like an older group. Or you could check out the Gaithers. You know, that's another group that would definitely give you that kind of a country gospel sound or southern gospel sound.
Cool.
So,
and so let's hear this. We have all these beats with Smart Beat technology. Something we love to do in Drumeo. And so you'll have the sheet music on screen and everything.
Yeah.
And so let's do this. It's going to be at 105 beats per minute. And this is the tempo that this groove kind of sits best at.
Yeah, you know, very comfortable, nice flow. And depending on the situation you're in, it might be faster or slower, but we'll call this the middle of the road.
Okay, let's hear it. Very cool. And so that's like a shuffle in triplets. And are you counting anything when you're playing that, or you just?
I'm more, if I'm counting, I'm definitely thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, da-da, da-da, da-da. But I'm just usually singing songs in my mind when I play. So.
Cool. Okay, so the next one we have is the waltz.
The waltz. So, you know, you might be familiar with the waltz when it comes to, you know, ballroom dancing and like that kind of a thing. But the waltz does appear in some music in church. So this will be the waltz in church.
And so the waltz is based in 3/4, which is basically you're just lopping off one quarter note every 4/4, and you're counting to 3 instead of counting to 4.
There you go.
I think it's a really important feel to have. We were talking about this before because I grew up playing in church, and I bombed that so many times because I would be like 1, 2, 3. No, I start hitting the snare on the 1 to the next bar, and so it's very important to learn.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. The next one we got is the funk shuffle.
Yeah, the funk shuffle, 16th Note funk shuffle. So this one is one of my favorites. Sits in a really nice groove. Starts off with an open hi-hat to get things going, and it's really cool because it keeps it open to begin with.
Cool. Let's hear it. Okay, and before we move on from there, you got to tell us, like a lot of drummers, me, would go like this.
Yeah.
And you keep everything here, and you just kind of like...
Flick my wrist up to get there.
What? Maybe you can just elaborate?
I blame drummers like Teddy Campbell. No, I don't blame anybody. It's something I picked up being used to hitting the hi-hat with my left hand while playing the ride cymbal. Figured that I would actually keep my left hand there and just get used to doing it. You can create a bunch of different textures and also get a lot of quicker notes in without having to remove, like, to take your hand away and bring it out here and then rely on trying to hit the snare with your right hand. So just something that I got used to doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I also want to mention that that pattern is written as 16th notes. Now, you're playing it with shuffle or swing. You call this a funk shuffle.
Yeah, like swung 16th.
Okay, so you're counting it like 1 EN to 2 EN to 3 EN to
Correct.
4. Okay, so that's very important to note when you're looking at it. We could have notated it as 16th note triplets, but it gets way more confusing then. Or we could have notated it as 2 bars of 8th note triplets, but let's not even go there. This is simpler. Just think and kind of get that into your head.
Awesome.
All right, so next we got the shout. And so you scream when you play this?
No, I do not scream. Others might scream, but oh my goodness. This shout pattern, shout music, something you'll find in American gospel music. In some churches, it's very popular, and it goes a little something like this.
Cool. Great. Now this is a 2-bar pattern, right? And the main switch up there is on the ride cymbal near the end of the 2nd bar.
And the bass drum at the end as well.
Bass drum. Okay. And you obviously vary from that depending on the music and stuff like that. Like I've seen you do at that tempo, you'll start doing more intricate stuff on the ride cymbal.
Yeah, and lengthen the phrase even more, so it might sound like a 4-bar pattern that turns around on the 4th bar, or I'll do the 2-bar, but then to make it feel like a 4-bar pattern, I'll just add something else towards the second time around. So.
Yeah. Do you mind just quickly demonstrating that? Okay. You could just play here all day. I love listening to it. Oh, so good. Okay, cool. Moving on. I wish we had all day. And just so you guys know, our drumeo lessons that we've been doing with Larnell, they're an hour, and we get to ask questions and stuff. And so I do that to him. I'll make him play the whole thing. It's awesome. But the next one we got is Caribbean. Or no,
we got the ballad happening. Okay. Yeah. So the ballad, very simple, straightforward. I'll play it with you. I'll play it for you. Some of you will know it, some of you may not. But you use this in what would be considered the worship part of the service. People are in meditation, people are praying. It needs to be a little quieter, a little softer in volume. So we use cross stick. I try as much as I can to use the back of the stick. Nice full sound. And I'll be doing the accents, the quarter notes with the edge of the stick on the hi-hat, and the other 2 16th notes with the tip of the stick on the hi-hat.
Cool.
Here we go.
Great, and then the next feel you have is, I think is a really cool one. Now this is Caribbean American?
Yeah, it's a split. Just to give a little bit of a background, it's not quite a calypso beat. It's not quite, a dance hall rhythm. Something that I've heard from a lot of recordings from gospel artists in the States. And it's just a mix of this, a little mix of that. It's funkier, but we'll just call it Caribbean American. All right?
Cool.
Here we go.
Great, and again, you are just, I know people are going to be like, where are those extra notes coming from? But it's just because he's kind of like turning his wrist up to get that other stroke in there. And so that's very, very cool. And as far as artists, you mentioned some artists from the States. Where would we hear that style of music? Like what artists?
One song in particular you can check out is by an artist named Martha Manuzzi, and it's called Jesus is the Best Thing. And the drummer on that record, or on that song, is Calvin Rogers.
Okay.
Yeah, amazing drummer. So he's definitely someone you can check out. Something with kind of a close feel is another song by Fred Hammond called This Is the Day. So it's still kind of not exactly the same pattern, but definitely sits within that feel, so you can give that a whirl as well with it when you're listening to that song.
Awesome. Now, the last style he's going to talk about is like the one I'm most familiar with. I think it's partially because of my skin tone. It's like I grew up playing it more straight and just like that style of music, which is contemporary.
Contemporary.
And so maybe just quickly talk about this one, and then we can end the lesson.
Yeah, demonstrate it. So this one, contemporary, you'll find in contemporary Christian music, or CCM. And I guess one group you could listen to kind of listen to a bit of this kind of stuff is Hillsongs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's do this at 105 beats per minute. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing this stuff. If you guys want to hear more about all the crazy stuff Larnell Lewis is doing, you can just go to his website, larnelllewismusic.com. And if you want to get the sheet music for this lesson, there is a link right below. We're actually going to put together an area in our members area, or where they can download all this stuff. Cool. And so just click that link below, and you can get all the resources for that. But definitely check out this guy's drumming. He's on tons of people's albums, and you guys are absolutely going to be blown away. So thank you so much. Any final words? Study,
listen, and have fun. That's what this is about. This is why we do this. All right?
Awesome. Thank you.